Sorry. Kia ora, good morning. I just thought while I'm sitting here having my morning coffee, I would do a live because obviously I have to learn how to talk live, like I did back in when I was doing my radio show in Chicago, WRMN 1410, when I had my radio show called the Paranormal Hour. So I have to get used to talking live again, watching my P's and Q's and well, I mean, I don't necessarily want to have to censor myself, but you know what I mean. Practicing the way I talk and interact with people live. So I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I got to make plans when I get out of here while I'm waiting for everything to come in to build this foundation. Once I have a location of where to build, um, I want to get out there and make my shows, and I want to make my shows with a co-host. As soon as I get out of here, I'm going to go up to Edinburgh for a few days just to gather myself, and then I'm going to get on a plane and go to New Zealand and see my sister. And while we're in New Zealand, I want to go up to Whakarewariwa, where my dad had that experience, so that I can record it and see if I can see what he saw. I want to walk in my father's footsteps, basically. There's all sorts of places I want to go to investigate, like the buried village, for example. How can you not do the buried village? Also, we got some mining towns in that are still there. We got places where there's been like David Blaine and all that, like the streets where all the shootings took place. And I want to, I can't remember his name. The guy that my dad, when he was in the army, the guy that went on that shot those people, my father had to stand over the body while the police came and all that, while they were doing their investigation and all that. I want to retrace my father's footsteps. His friendship with Mr. Asia. My father lived a life that it in itself could be a story. He'd be like the BFG. Like my father's life, for as honourable and noble as what he was, having served over 34 years in the New Zealand Army, I have a feeling it could have gone a very different way for my dad if my mum hadn't have stepped in. Even then, having said that, she wasn't exactly innocent either once she got with my dad. But my dad was the most supernatural person I ever met in my life. And, hi, you see face. No, you don't need to. You can see my photos on my YouTube. I'm not here for that. Thank you very much. You can see what I look like. This isn't about my face. This is about what I'm talking about, my podcast, my message. So, anyway, stop distracting me. So I want to get out and make shows, and I want a co-host, and I want a male co-host, and obviously he will be paid. But I want to go and do shows in New Zealand and do the whole ancestral thing. And then I'm going to go to Australia, and my nephew, him and his wife, they're going to take me out to Yowie territory, and also where there's been some, like known stuff going on. And I want to do like a Ned Kelly tour. My nephew knows the Ned Kelly tours because it's scattered all over the place. So, it's not like one location. The Ned Kelly experience is like scattered all over the place. So, we're going to do like a whole Ned Kelly thing. And then I'll come back to the UK and start packing up and apply for my visa because Hopefully by then I'll know where I'm going. But while I'm waiting for my visa, while I'm waiting for everything to get, because I have to put in like my notice here with this place. Hi, hi. I have to put my notice in with this place, so I'm going to take the opportunity to go around the UK, to all the places I've always wanted to visit, and do my shows, my investigations, and my into the paranormal and supernatural. And I want a co-host. I want a sidekick. I want someone with me. Dark Page, what is this live about? I'm talking about how when I get out of Yorkshire, well, when I get out of this legal situation that I'm waiting for a court case to finish, and then I'm looking for a co-host to travel about the UK with me to do investigations into the paranormal and supernatural. But I'm a scientist, so it's from a scientific perspective, to debunk things and explain things, why we have them, going to famous places with famous, like, known paranormal cases and all of that, and debunking them and explaining what they are. So I'm looking for a co-host. Yeah. Yay! Has to be male though. I couldn't be stuck in a car doing all that driving with a female. They're too competitive. Like I've got a very small female social group, but the females that I hang out with, they're no BS kind of people. So yeah, it has to be male, and with a sense of humour as well. He's got to be open minded. He doesn't have to believe in anything that I believe in, but he has to be open minded. He has to be up for anything. And it will be funny, because I don't look at death and the occult and all of that in the serious way when it comes to teaching children how to deal with, like, the boogeyman, the monsters under the bed. I use comedy, I use humour, it softens the blow, so to speak. If you want to see what I look like, there's photos of me on my Instagram with the same name. I just put some up after I had a shower. But yeah. Or you can click on my profile picture. That's what I look like. Anyway, so yeah, so I don't know whether to look for someone in Yorkshire or just look for someone who's willing to travel who has a passport. Because like I'll have the money to fly them out from anywhere. They have to be the right person. They have to be the right person to know what to do. Like when I start time jumping, and he's pretty much going to have to be the same sort of guy that my future husband would have to be. Like, know that when I'm doing my time jumping and working on my alchemy to decipher codes and stuff, he'll know that I'm going to be very, 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 very hungry afterwards. Doing my physics, when I'm working with the alchemy of atoms, putting physics inside, like coding atoms, using biorhythmics and stuff, it's a lot of brain work. And when I come out of it, I'm so hungry. I I can eat a lot. So I wrote that into my comic book, The Quantum Menace. The Quantum Menace's cat, when he wakes up from his time jumping and all that, when he's gone into the past to train up warriors and that to fight Heracles at the end, when he's got to form the band of mutants and that together to fight Heracles at the end. It starts with him talking. It starts with the narration of him having had a jump, and then when he wakes up, his cat Tennant has ordered food for him, because he's got his computer set up so that As soon as he starts waking up, the cat knows to press the button and order the food, and the people know exactly what to order, and then they deliver it to his door. Because yeah, like, oh my god, it takes a lot out of you, physically and mentally. So my co-host is gonna have to know what to do, because I have a tendency, being a spooky bitch, and I explained in my last video what a spooky bitch was. A spook, not the Secret Service code word spook. A real spook, um, is someone who, is someone who's living, who walks amongst the dead, who walks amongst, not necessarily, well, I mean, yeah, kind of the dead, but like the past. They walk amongst the past. That's what a spook is. It's it's you. How do I explain it? You don't know when it's going to happen. You don't know when you're walking down the street, all of a sudden you might be standing in Ypres in France, or Passchendaele or Normandy, and you're in like the Yorkshire Dales, and then all of a sudden you're standing in Paris, and things are happening that you're expected to like quickly documenting that, because they're going to be important codes for the future. Like I'm in Paris in that moment, but to everybody else I'm in the Yorkshire Dales. And so I have to navigate being in Paris and the Yorkshire Dales at the same time. And it's documented. I've documented this over and over and over and over and over again. My video channel, my YouTube channel, has got more than enough evidence that I'm able to do this. I call it time jumping. And when I go to places where there's been historical grief events and that, I pick up on it. But sometimes those places also pick up on me and call me, the atoms of time will call me to them. And then I see things and I get put in situations that can be quite dangerous. So my co-host is going to have to be someone who, the second he knows that I'm in a jump, he knows that I'm not going to be aware of any of my physical reality. So he has to protect me. He like my husband, he's got to be my protector. He's got to be my ground eyes, because when I'm the sky eyes, or the star eyes, the eyes of the star, he has to be my eyes on the ground, making sure that I'm not going to come into any kind of physical danger. Um, from a romantic point of view, he has to be the one that he can spot disingenuous people. He can spot the men with ulterior motives, and men don't care if I'm with in the company of another man. When I used to go out with my ex-husband to, go on trips with the boys and that to make my shows, men used to think that my ex-husband and I were still together, even though we weren't. But it didn't stop them from trying, and yeah, so he needs to keep all that away. They basically need to go through, anyone who wants to have any kind of dealings with me has to go through my ground eyes first, because of my time jumping. Like I've said before, there's plenty of people that want me dead because of what I am and what I do. This whole situation that I'm in now is all because there are a lot of very rich, very famous, very powerful people out there that want to shut me up, but people are too scared to come near me because they know how powerful I am. The trouble I'm causing for people like Keir Starmer, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and all of that. Yeah, that's me. That's me doing all that. We're in the middle of a holy war, and I've got to protect and defend. It cost me everything. I lost everything. I lost my home. I lost my possessions. I lost my two boys. I lost all my family. I lost all my friends, my clients, my students, my husband, my ex-husbands. I lost them all, my best friends. Lost everyone but one sister and a nephew. Well, one sister and three nephews, sorry. And all because I kept telling people for since 2013, there's going to be a war between good versus evil, and we're going to have this mass cleansing of darkness, and that there was going to be a global uprising, and it was going to start with the man with the white hair, which Julian Assange, he triggered like the whole cleansing thing. And then, of course, it turned into me doing investigations into these plane crashes and car bombings and these random acts of violence and that, and discovering Nikola Tesla's direct energy weapon. And then, because I can't keep my mouth shut, so if I know stuff that's putting people in danger, I have to say what I see. So when I started going down the whole human trafficking, child trafficking Hollywood route, like back in the early 2000s, they wanted to shut me up. Hillary Clinton especially wanted to shut me up. So there was like this whole thing. And what happened was my ex-husband got me locked up. He said I was crazy. He said I was running around the house with a knife, which wasn't true. And that I had barricaded myself in my bedroom, in the bedroom with my boys, which wasn't true. I had the whole thing on video when the police and that turned up. There was none of any of what they said was going on, but false police reports got written. And I couldn't understand why the police were like going against everything they were supposed to be doing to protect me as a victim of domestic violence and that, until I started doing the investigations and I saw how far back all of this went. All because back in my WordPress days, in the, I started that blog in 2013. But all the trouble started kicking off around 2016. This was all because I started speaking up about the children being trafficked, because I was working with American military boys who were coming to me suffering from the most severe PTSD because they were being haunted by things, and they thought they were possessed and they thought they were cursed, and they had heard that I was the woman who could fix them. And so I had all these military boys coming to me, and a lot of these stories were involving things that they'd seen with human trafficking. Or not, it wasn't just military; it was police force, a couple of CIA and border patrol, and I had to do something. So I started speaking out, and then it turned my quantum magnetics, my science, the ability to manipulate time, to access time. I started picking up on other things, and it grew from there. And of course, the more I saw, the more I was putting out, the bigger the threat became. I was the first one to mention Tom Hanks. I was the first one to mention Ellen DeGeneres. I named all of them. Like, I haven't been wrong yet. Every single person that I named back in like 2016, 17, 18, I haven't been wrong yet. I had like a massive list of people who were considered enemies of God, enemies of children. And then, of course, I became a target. So things started getting shut down for me. All of a sudden, I was being shut out of WordPress and Facebook. And I just thought, okay, yeah, whatever, because I know how God works. So, like when He takes stuff away, I mean, I didn't believe in God back then, which was funny, because I actually set out to prove that God wasn't real and walked straight into becoming a reverend. Because as a scientist, I couldn't deny the evidence. I just don't see God the way everybody else sees God. To me, God is the atom, but the atom is conscious. Conscience is the conscience, like thought bubbles of a collective energy that is responsible for the creation of the universe. Atom, the atom, is a conscious frequency. Yeah, so, and you can tune into that and mess about with it. But you have to be of the same frequency. So I have access to all of this because I've earned the right, because I made the sacrifices. Because, like I said, basically, and said to the universe, I was standing up at the full moon at the end of November. I was getting ready to get married. to the man who ended up hacking my Facebook and my phone and sleeping with the pedophile that I kicked out for trying to kiss my son, and who was in the Air Force, who is 100% behind a lot of what happened to me. So I started seeing codes, I started speaking out. And yeah, they tried to kill me like a few times. And then I lost everything, and I couldn't understand why, because I was speaking out to in support of Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin because of the codes I was seeing. But I thought Donald Trump was one of the good guys because I wasn't seeing the codes properly. It wasn't time to see the codes properly. The one thing that I had to learn with quantum magnetics is timing is everything. I can see something as much as what I want. I can decode things that I want to happen as much as I want, but until timing comes into play, there's absolutely nothing I can do. I can control what happens. I can't control when it happens, because I have to get permission from God and the ancestors and like the council of elders and all that, what you would call your spirit guides and all that. I have to get permission from them to have any of the alchemy that I do be granted on earth. And the only way you get permission is if you're a good girl. And I am a good girl. I'm a good girl. I am a good girl. I keep my vessel clean. I'm pure. I do everything I'm told to do. I follow, the laws of the universe and that, because I'm a karmic judge. And I'm very honest, and I can't keep my mouth shut when I see an injustice. And so I speak out. And so when I started speaking out about Vladimir Putin and his innocence and how he was being targeted by NATO and the EU and all of that, they came for me, and Starmer's still coming for me. Every month now, just to get the little scrap that I get to survive on until I get this court case sorted, I have to prove I'm here legally. And if you see what he's doing for illegal immigrants, I'm here legally, and like he was trying to batter me, trying to get me deported, trying to get me locked up. I had cops turning up here trying to like pin the most nonsensical bollocks on me, like you wouldn't believe, to the point where I had to get the New Zealand High Commission involved. False reports. People lied through their back teeth. People like Jess Phillips, who should have been the one to help me deal with all of this, turned her back, and I couldn't understand why. Why, when I was going to the FBI, why I was going to the newspapers and all of that, nobody was listening. Everybody was shutting down on me. I was getting blocked left, right, and centre from communicating from people, and I couldn't understand why until I did the investigation into the plane crashes and helicopter crashes and car bombings and random shootings that were going on in and around America with Donald Trump. And then that's when I discovered the whole Epstein thing and blew the whistle. And I started blowing and blowing and blowing and blowing. When I saw the truth of what I was uncovering, my opinion of him changed on a dime. And I felt so betrayed by God. And I said to God, why did you lead me to believe he was the good guy? And he said, because you were the bait. God had to give him a false sense of security so that he would be dumb enough to think that he was going to get away with murder, that he was going to get away with the stuff he was getting away with, smiling to Russia's face and then stabbing them in the back. Like that's what he does. He's Lucifer, basically. If you want to put him as anyone in the Bible, he's Lucifer, and what he's doing is the whole Gog and Magog. MAGA, the Magog. And I've been putting out these codes and putting out these messages and saying this is what's going to happen. This is what they're doing. This is why NATO, EU, von der Leyen, all of them, Zelensky, Starmer, like I named a lot of them, and I named them to the king, and I named them to the ICC, because like something has to be done, because Vladimir Putin um, is 100% innocent of the cause of the war in Ukraine. Everybody admits that he was targeted. I took all my evidence to the ICC because he doesn't deserve to have that ban on him. The stuff they made up about him trafficking children was a lie. And they produced, it says, claims and apparent, not actual legal terms of we have proof, we have facts, we have evidence. It appears to look like, and in this day and age of AI and Photoshop and all of that, it's like I said to the ICC, how thorough was your investigation into this? Because Vladimir Putin was the one that was actually rescuing the children. And from what I understand, when I did my investigation into him, he took those children to get them out of trouble, to get them away from trouble. I produced evidence that Zelensky is targeting Russian-speaking children and removing them from their homes, and he's brought in a law where he can come in and take your children, and you're not allowed to ask where they're going. You can be arrested just for trying to find out where your children are going, and he's targeting the Russian-speaking children first. So, there's all this stuff going on that I uncovered from like way back in the day, from things that I was seeing like in the 90s, and it's all starting to happen now. Everything that I said, the riots, the global uprising, LA riots meets V for Vendetta, all of that, like it's all coming true. Everything I said is coming true. And because of that, they were trying to shut me up. So I lost everything. Because of the position of power that they had, they've been controlling like my when, what, who, where, why, and how, thinking that they could shut me up, thinking, oh, we can drive her mad and then we've got an excuse to lock her up forever and all that sort of thing. But they forgot I'm a Scorpio, and they forgot I'm Māori, and they forgot I'm an Irish woman. So, so I put my foot down, like I dug my heels in when they locked me up. They were my voice cutting out, and I'm having to clear my throat. That's because they forced me to medicate, and I was going into anaphylactic shock because I'm allergic to everything, which is why I have to keep my body pure. I can't have like antibiotics and aspirin and all that because my body is like really high frequency now. So chemicals and that, I can't do chemicals. And they were forcing me to take this medication because they said I was nuts until everything I said started happening. So now, basically what happened was they decided that physics and being an Indigenous woman was a mental illness, and that pissed me off. So then I put my heels in and started doing my own investigation, and it led me to all of this. I got locked up June 2022, and they let me out on the 11th of October, my ex-husband's birthday, 2022. I was put in a homeless shelter, and then on the 29th of November, they moved me into here, and I've been left to fend for myself ever since, but I've taken Starmer down. I've taken Lammy down. I'm taking Donald Trump down. I'm taking Zelensky down. I'm taking Macron down. I am taking them all down. Everything that's happening is because of my alchemy. Because with quantum magnetics, you see, it works in one of two minds. The atom is split. I can manifest one way where if I see it in my head and I write it down, it happens in real life, right? And on the other side is I get downloads where I pick up the consciousness inside an atom, and I have no way of knowing whether it's a past, present, or future atomic pitch. And I will pick that up and see it and record what I see, and then it ends up happening. So, because the atom is split, the universe is split. We're split in two worlds, positive frequency, negative frequency. and I'm fighting the positive frequency. The positive frequency in an atom or in the ionosphere, in the atmosphere, in the air that you're currently breathing, the positive particles are the bad ones. They're the ones that mess with your what you think and what you feel. The negative ones are the ones that keep you stable and balanced and keep you logical. So, yeah, I'm able to mess with all of that. I call it biorhythmic engineering. And yeah, I have people trying to copy me all the time. Elon Musk tried to copy me and it backfired. Like, spectacularly. You're not allowed to take things from the universe you don't have permission to take. You have to earn the right to have the ability to use alchemy. And alchemy is basically just the magic of the element, creating magic using the elements. My Persian ancestors, it was supposed to be the fountain of youth. They were looking for the fountain of youth and being able to live forever, but the Illuminati took it down to we found the fountain of youth and it requires terrifying children and drinking their blood and splashing their blood on our face, i.e. Hillary Clinton and Fraser Drip and that. Like in my WordPress days, the stuff I was uncovering was leading me down to this path. So in the last live where I was talking about my app Spellbound, everything I'm creating is to build my creative art school, but it's also to build safe houses for children that we can rescue from being trafficked from the borders. And I was hoping against all, well, I was hoping against all hope that I could do it in Russia, but that's been because they keep shutting all the doors on me. They keep whispering in people's ears to try and stop me, because if I get to build the foundation, the second I get justice and I get out of here, the minute I break dirt on knowing exactly that's where I'm going to be, it's all over for them, because then we're putting on, like, I wrote a whole musical to perform live on stage, but broadcast it over my radio show, and I'm hoping I can perform it next Halloween in the country that I immigrate to. And it was called Fanta Black, but I'm now calling it The Night of the Black Sun, KNIGHT, The Night of the Black Sun, and it is a zombie apocalypse musical. I call it a music rock apocalypse. It's basically our version of War of the Worlds. And we're going to perform it live, and the kids can, play all the instruments and do a lot of the acting, because it's based around the art school. And there's this big, like, zombie apocalypse, and the kids have to survive it, and all this sort of thing. And it's a Halloween story. It's a Halloween musical, so it's scary. Like, it's not the sort of thing that you're going to listen to. If you know anything about War of the Worlds, you'll know how people reacted when that first came out. So, but yeah, I don't hold back when it comes to Halloween and scaring people. So we've got like a whole thing. All that I've been planning this stuff for so long, and they keep trying to stop me, because they know that once I actually get to that point, because the Night of the Black Sun, even though it's like a War of the Worlds style live radio broadcast, live air concert that the kids are going to be putting on, it's also to raise awareness for human trafficking. So this is why they're after me, because it's what they want. It's why they want war with Russia. It's why they're doing what they're doing in Palestine, because they want access to the kids. Syria, Lebanon, I mean, anywhere where there's conflict, anywhere where there's poverty. I put a list up of the places where I know Britain's taking them from, because I can't keep my mouth shut. But they know they can't come near me now, because every time they try to come near me, God strikes them down with a thunderbolt of lightning. Very, very frightening. Galileo. Bohemian Rhapsody, by the way, is about Bohemian growth. Just so you know, just put it out there, because I'm an occult physicist. So this is my business, and the thing is that I'm very honest, and if I see something, I say something, and I don't like people being victims of injustice, and that's exactly what is happening with Vladimir Putin. So I've been defending him, and because I've been defending him in a country that wants war with him, yeah, I'm not the Labour government or even Tony Blair's in that. I'm not their friend because I've been tattling on them to the king and telling him exactly what's going to happen if he doesn't do something. And yeah, but it looks like everything's starting to calm down now because they're all starting to feel the force of karma. They didn't listen to the warnings when I said leave Vladimir Putin and Russia alone. They didn't listen for over a year. They didn't listen. So now they're all starting to uh, experience karma, God's wrath. They're getting to know God's wrath, every single one of them. So you're going to see a lot of world leaders. There's going to be all over the news, Macron resigns, or Macron ousted, and Starmer resigns, Starmer ousted, that sort of thing. So-and-so impeached, so-and-so arrested, um, because the house is being torn down. Um, so I was put through all of this to protect all the good people. Uh, and I made a lot of sacrifices to do it. I made a lot of sacrifices. I didn't get to be in New Zealand with my niece when she died because of all of this, because of the one lie that my ex-husband, told the police. So now I'm tearing it all down. Now it's all been set on fire, and they can pay for the rebuild. So my lawsuit is going to pay for my co-host to come and join me on this adventure around the UK. I will pay for everything. He'll get a wage. We'll hire a vehicle. I can't drive, so he's going to have to do all the driving. I need to hire someone who's really good with sound and editing. We're basically just going to use our phones and like little handheld cameras and GoPros. I'll put a GoPro on my head, and then we're going to delve deep into the world of the paranormal, the supernatural, folklores, myths. I've got to see it before I go. It's going to be like my tangi for the United Kingdom before I leave. So where I go to is up to God. I'm thinking either Hungary or maybe Poland. It just depends on the political aspect. I would love to go to Russia. I'd give anything to immigrate to Russia, but it's just not meant to be. Too many people standing in front of the border. So I am looking for a co-host, and yeah, I'm getting ready. I can feel it. I'm about to get justice. I can feel it. I've just got this urge to start packing. Uh, so yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'm looking for a co-host, and when I get the justice and the money, we start making these shows and that, then I need to start looking for like gaming artists, and to set up my gaming company I need my graphic designers, and I'm going to need people on board, people who know how to make movies and video games and TV shows and comic books and do all the sorts of things that I'm going to need as soon as I find a place to plant my seed and put down roots. But Hungary is looking very appealing at the moment. So we'll just see what happens. Maybe my co-host will emigrate with me. I don't know. It depends on. I might be glad to see the back of him by the time the shows finish up in Scotland, because I'll probably fly out from Scotland. So I want to like start in Yorkshire and work around like clockwise, and end up in Scotland and fly out from Scotland to where it is I'm emigrating to. So that's what I'm doing. So this is just practice runs. Said hi. Hi, JC. So I'm going to go now because this is just a practice run. I've got to learn how to speak live. Oh, and then when I'm all sorted, I'll show my face and everything. But just not right now because it's not about that. I'm not yet ready to step out on stage, so to speak, but I'm nearly there. So I'm going to come to Cornwall. Oh yes, I've been to Cornwall a couple of times. I will absolutely be making shows in Cornwall because I want to do the whole pirate of Penzance and all that. I want to do the whole bottom half of the United Kingdom. I'm in Yorkshire right now, so I want to start in Yorkshire because there's so many places to investigate here. The British, like with their folklore and mythology and that, they're so deeply immersed into it. It's like you just want to take a bite out of it. It's just so chewy and yummy. I could probably spend a good few weeks just investigating Lancashire and Yorkshire, but absolutely. Oh, you live in Penzance. It's amazing down there. I was too fat to appreciate. I was too fat to appreciate how awesome Cornwall was from like a walking around perspective. This was a long time ago. That I like when my boys were only little. We went to Cornwall, but I was very large. I was a very large woman back then. But now, I want to go back. Do you know any paranormal places? Do you know any places that have been like connected to anything paranormal or supernatural or any folklore or mythology in that I can go and investigate? I don't know how long it's going to take for him to talk. I've subscribed. I do love it here. Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. And you can go out to that little island, eh? I want to do it all. Like I remember standing there, seeing those caves, and just being blown away that pirates were real. And then I went to North Carolina and the whole Blackbeard thing, and I was like, oh my God, like, as a New Zealander who just grew up living on a tropical island surrounded by volcanoes and stuff, running around in barefoot and t shirt, the thought of pirates being real was just mind blowing. It's not that we Polynesian people are backward or anything like that. We're pure shores. We grew up with like white beaches and blue water and all sorts of whales and dolphins and sharks and coconuts and bananas and just tropical islands and that. So the thought of like Spanish galleons and pirates and cannons being fired from ships and that sort of stuff's mind blowing to a little island blackie like me. I say blackie, I'm as white as the driven snow, but I am Polynesian. Bodmin Jail in Jamaica Inn is haunted to hell. Oh, Boscastle was folklore to the. Yeah, yeah, they did. They went to some of those on Most Haunted, and I was originally supposed to send a demo tape to Sky TV back in when I first moved to the United Kingdom in the early noughties to be the rival to Most Haunted. I worked in a smuggling inn just outside of Newquay. The place was mentioned in the. Oh, yeah. See, now that's the other thing being a Kiwi. Our country isn't anywhere near as old as Britain and Europe and that. So the fact that I'm able to walk down streets where the actual road itself is older than my entire country's had humans on it is just mind blowing. I went to a year-old trip to Jerusalem in Nottingham a few years ago, and that where they used to drink before the Crusades, and that blew my mind. So it's like I need to go there and I need to investigate these things and do my own shows. Did you experience anything? Did you experience anything when you went there or when you worked there? I wrote about a pirate in one of my children's stories that will turn into a radio show. Everything I'm talking about is all the stuff that I want to invest my money in for the art school. I've written like a whole pile of movies and games and comics and books and all of that as schoolwork for the kids to come and stay. I had a Kiwi customer that said the same thing. Yeah, yeah. It's it's mind blowing to us. History is mind blowing to us because, like, see, New Zealand is the only country in the world that still looks like how it did when there were dinosaurs roaming the earth. There's still so much of New Zealand that is uninhabitable. Like, that's how remote and tropical we are. We're literally just like Moana, but with some buildings and some modern things. But then the second you get to Europe and the United Kingdom, it's mind blowing. I've seen the resident bloke that stormed the corridors. I don't understand what they meant. I was bent down picking up some from the bottom shelf, and his tan trench coat came storming towards me. Oh, do you know what that sounds like? Did he know you was? Do you think he knew you were there? Because that sounds like a time slip. Do you think he knew you were there 100%? Then that sounds like it's a time slip. Do you know what that is? See, this is why I want to make my shows. Um, a time slip is a supernatural event, not a paranormal one. If they know you're there, they're not dead and they think you're the ghost. So, him charging at you and storming at you, he would have thought you were an intruder and you probably scared the hell out of him. But because his time and your time, the frequency and the pitch of your time would have been pitch perfect with his, and with the stone tape theory, you know, like how all organic objects absorb energy and can play it back like a recorder. It's basically blended your time with his time. He's seen you and thought, who the hell are you? Come charging at you thinking you're the intruder. And in his time, he probably went around telling people, I swear to God, I saw a ghost behind the bar or behind the whatever. So, yeah, it sounds like you were having time slips. If he knew you were there and his and he was like rushing towards you and acting like aggressively or confrontational or defensive, then he wasn't dead. You were seeing each other through like the veil in your time and his time, and there would have been like a veil that opened up like a portal, like a mirror between the two of you where you got to see each other. That's not paranormal, that's supernatural. And this is what I keep trying to explain to people. This is why I want to make my shows, because then I can go to these places and explain things to people like you. Where, because like what I'm trying to get people to understand with these shows and that is that the supernatural is physics and it is way cooler than thinking along the paranormal lines where dead people are stuck and wander the earth. Trapped spirits are exceptionally rare, but as an occult physicist, this is what I want to explain to people. But that's well interesting. Yeah, time slips. There's time slips and time bends. And time slips are basically what people call hauntings because they're reoccurrences of time gathering together, you know, like when the pitch and the frequency, when the pitch and the atmosphere is perfect between your time and theirs, it opens, it's like it parts the veil, and then you get to see each other. But because you both don't understand what the hell's going on, you get scared because the body's natural instinct, when it is up against something that it doesn't understand, is to freeze or to, you know, get afraid or run away or fight it. And obviously, the man in the trench coat fights it a lot. His natural fear response is to fight it. Who are you? You know, what are you doing here? Blah, 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 because he knows something's happening that's not natural. And so his instinct is to get defensive, whereas yours is to get scared. And maybe freeze in that, but it's a natural instinctual response when you're up against something that your brain knows isn't normal. And so I come along and I go into these places and I say, well, it was this and it was that. And, you have absolutely nothing to fear. In fact, if it happens again, enjoy the moment, because you're standing in a bend in physics that can't be reproduced even by the greatest technology on earth, like the Hadron Collider. The AI, Grok, none of it can recreate the stuff that you're experiencing when you're standing in a time slip. A time bend is like the stone tape. It's the ghost. You know how you'll see like the grey lady standing by the window every now and then, that sort of thing. That's just like a glitch. It's like when you play a record or a videotape back in the day, and there was like it would jump, and like a glitch in time. And all you have to do is just change the pitch or change the frequency of it, and the ghost will vanish. So yeah, there's the paranormal, and then there's the supernatural. And as an occult physicist, I teach the difference, and so I'm looking for a male co-host that I can travel around the UK with, who wants to like delve deep into the supernatural and the paranormal, and the myths and folklores and that, and have fun while we do it, but while educating people. So yeah. It's all on, that's my science. So you're more than welcome. I've got a load of videos on my channel that explains everything. And if you have any questions outside of this live, just message me in the comments, or like in the DMs. I've got my email there. If you have any questions, also if you have any other recommendations of places to go to, because I want to, I'm dying to go to Portsmouth, like where the Royal Navy was invented, and that. Like, I'm dying to go to Portsmouth. So and then I want to go back down to like Devon and all that as well. So I want to just spend a few weeks just driving around the whole UK. So I will absolutely be in Cornwall. We can meet up for a coffee or something. I'm going to have to look into this thing. Oh, you already said that. Right, so yeah, so if you have any questions, you know where I am. But my YouTube channel's got all that, because it's my science. I'm the one that people try and take the definitions and they get it wrong. So I'm having to recorrect everything that people got wrong. Because getting the occult wrong can actually cause a lot of harm to your psychological mind, which then creates paranormal activity. so so I'm here to tell the difference. And I have the videos there. But if you have any questions, keeping cool. Yeah, if you have any questions or you have any recommendations for places and that, and then yeah, once I'm able to get my crew together and get down there, like, we'll maybe meet up for a drink or a coffee or something. You can come on an adventure with us, even. I'll have my people call your people. So I'm going to go now, but I shall speak to you later. I'm so glad you came along. This was a lovely chat. It's not how I was expecting it to go, but there you go. I shall speak to you later. It was lovely talking to you. Yeah. Take care, and yeah, we'll talk later. Ka kite anō.